35 minutes.
All right, so I was on my way here and I just thought of a couple questions that I wanted to ask you. So
I'm
can
nervous.
I just...
You said you're gonna do something
Todd's
fun.
nervous?
You said you're gonna do something fun, but you're MJ. I mean, this is. I feel a little
So I
exposed
can
right
do
now.
whatever I want?
I feel like I'm in my underwear. Okay, go.
Okay, so I want to know, have you ever wanted to just walk up to someone and be like, honey?
Are we talking about her hair or just in general? yeah, of course. Who doesn't want to? Actually, I've done it.
You've really walked up
Yeah.
and said,
Yeah.
honey.
The first time I did it, I was in a bar, and I walked up to this girl, and her hair was all jacked up in the back, and I had my phone with me, and I said, "Excuse me," and I said, "I want to show you the back of your hair." I took a picture of it, and I showed her. And it was all jacked up, and they go, "You really need a better hairstylist." And she turned to the guy to her right and smacked him on the arm. And she goes, "Look what you did to me." It was a gay bar, and that was her hairstylist.
No way.
That didn't turn out very well, but.
She's still with you today?
No. But it was fun. But I do approach people, actually.
Oh.
That's how you do it, I think, right? I mean, what's a card if it just sits there? So I do approach people, and usually it's I see something that I can do better, or I notice something about at PETA Jungle, these two women were talking, and they were very animated. I don't know why. In this dialogue in my head, I'm thinking, look how passionate they are. They're leaning in, their facial expressions, and then I noticed her tuck her hair behind her ears, and it was just not very good. And the other girl's hair wasn't very dynamic either. So I thought, wow, what if I walked up and said, all this passion, but it doesn't reflect in your hair? So I did it. I walked up to him and I said, I'm sorry, I noticed you from afar. I saw you leaning in, and I was just intrigued. And then I thought, wow, all that passion. Why don't you let me put that in your hair? So yeah, one of them is one of my clients.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is so cool. I would die if somebody walks up to me.
Well, I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
So it's almost like you help them feel on the outside what they really also want to feel on the inside.
Well, that's exactly the point, right? Because a lot of people will walk around and you'll notice them. They'll be, their makeup is all one tone, and their skin tone's one tone, and their hair is kind of one tone, and their shirt matches, and everything kind of like these houses here in Arizona, taupe and taupier.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you see is people that they want direction. They want you to take them in a color direction. They want you to tap into whatever it is they're feeling, the new job, the new man, the new whatever, and have that hair reflect that. And even if it doesn't reflect who they are, it's even better if it reflects who they want to be, because then everything else will catch up.
So what would you say to somebody that is intimidated? Somebody's watching this on social media right now. They want to look like somebody in a magazine. They want to go for the red. They want to go for the black. They want to go for the blue. They just don't have that kind of a relationship or know somebody that's a master stylist. They see this. They really want to go for it. But there's a big intimidation factor here in the industry where people don't have the guts to walk through the door. They really don't, and they don't know any better. And
I don't know if it's intimidation. I think it's fear. I think that people have been have had bad experiences, because kind of going back to communicating with people, if you don't really listen and you don't really ask the right questions, or even get the guests to tell you really what they want, or even what they don't want. I mean, you got to figure it out. It's like a riddle sometimes. But the problem is bad communication has bad results. And then when they want it to be red, they're brown. And then they come into the next person. They say, "Oh, I can fix them." And then they maybe get them red for a minute, but they fry their hair. So it's one bad experience after another. And the next thing you know, they're afraid. That really bothers me, huh?
To speak up. They're afraid to speak up.
Well, they just don't want to take a chance. I mean, it's like they settle. And listen, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. It's like, that's part of learning. The first time you cut that bang too short, then the first time you go push the lightener too far, or the first time you leave it on too long, or whatever it is, that's going to happen. And if it's not, as long as it's not intentional, and it's not a stupid error that causes real damage, it's kind of part of the learning process. And that's why you tell people that you're new. But if you claim to be a master colorist or master stylist, you need to be at that level, right? I think it's not even about that. I think it's just really about fear. And there are people out there that do things that don't really know what they're doing. They don't listen to manufacturers' recommendations and rules and those type of things, and and they try things they shouldn't try, and then they cover it with curls and a little bit of product, and they send them on the door, and maybe they come back, maybe they don't. Unfortunately, for people that want this for the long run, that want to have you for a long time and want to be a part of your life and part of your evolution and part of your color story, that's a hard thing to overcome. But that's when you turn that chair around, you forget the mirror, and you say, listen, here's where you're at, here's where you want to be, and here's how we're going to get there.
Right. And that's what
Yeah.
you did with me with my black to red. And it's been a journey.
Well,
And it's not been an easy
and
one.
you took a detour.
And I took
How that worked for you?
What do you say to people that want to cheat on their hairdresser?
Why? It's not about cheating. It's about trying something new. You know, they're going to go on vacation at some point. Well, why wouldn't you challenge your hairdresser by going and trying something else? I mean, I'm not talking about going for budget, right? I'm not talking about, well, I'm just going to go and, you know, spend $5 at this quickie thing. That's different. That's not cheating. That's like violating trust, actually, because you're ruining the palette that you've created. You know, but to go to someone with skill and to go to someone with a new perspective, you know, why not even ask them to do it? I know it's hard when people say, but if someone wants to leave me and go try something new, go. I'm here. I don't want you to be somewhere you don't want to be. And if I'm not challenging you and talking about what's tomorrow, it's not fun for me either. Not fun for me either.
So, what about those that have gone off, just since we're on the topic, and they might have steered away to try somebody else and they really do want to come back? How do you feel about that?
They can come back. I mean, I've had people that leave because I've driven too far, or maybe my price point was too high. You know, I got to a point where I was moving different places and you're paying different rent and your price goes too high, and I understand that. And I've lost people. I've made mistakes on here. I've misjudged and not asked a question, and I've left someone in a not a good position. You know, that's just a learning process, and that's hard to deal with. But it happens. You know, maybe you don't listen correctly. Maybe you don't really take a look at the texture or those type of things. So I get that. You're going to have people that come and go, because at the end of the day, this is a relationship, and some relationships work and some don't. That's in anything. No different than in a hairdresser.
So, if somebody wants to come back that's watching this right now, that's been in your chair.
Yeah, come back. Bring your wallet. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, I don't think I've ever, I don't think I've ever said no to somebody. I've had some people that maybe didn't respect my time. That's been difficult. You know, that they'll come 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late, you know, or skip appointment or whatever. And that, to me, that's like you don't have any respect for my time, and I love what I do. You know, that'd be like me just not being here. You know?
Right.
That, I have a difficult problem with that. But that should be anybody. It's just about respecting people's time.
Okay.
This is actually fun. I was a little scared, but that's kind of
No. Okay. So
like
you
I'm in a
can't.
confessional, like Big Brother or something.
Right. Oh no, we're
I'm
going
sitting in my
there.
red chair.
We're going there. We're going there right
Oh,
now.
crap. Okay.
So I want you. Don't tell us, but the wildest story you have ever heard somebody telling you in this chair. Give me a face expression.
I can't even tell you what I've heard in this chair. Not necessarily this chair, but I've heard some doozies. I mean, I've been like, had to stop what I was doing, but it wasn't like it was a.
Are you blushing?
No. Well, but the thing is, like, once it processed, then I wasn't surprised. But just initially hearing someone say that, because you know everybody has their own things, but I mean, you're pretty much in tune with people. You know if they have a wild side. You just haven't heard it. And then when they just go, it's like you just drop the color brush, you know, and you're just like, and you try not to show it, and then they laugh and they realize you have a moment, and all of a sudden then the conversation gets really good. So yeah, I've heard it. I'm sure you've probably said. I've heard some stuff come out of your mouth, and I was like, no.
Wait till you read my book.
Oh God. I know.
Your hair is going to be on the cover of it.
Yes. Thank you.
What is your biggest pet peeve in life? Anything.
There's a lot of them.
Toilet seat, up, down.
Stuff doesn't bother me. Passive aggressiveness is like a big deal to me. I don't like passive aggressiveness. It's like a pet peeve. I notice it right away. Right away when someone's beating around the bush. I just rather have you tell me. That's one of my things.
What is your favorite color?
Orange.
Talk to me about change. Somebody wants to make a change in life.
Ooh, why? It's exciting. Why do you want to change? That's my favorite thing. Because there's so much of the story behind that, right? You talk about blushes. Change is emotion. It's not a thing. And it can be an event sometimes, a process. But I love change. And I think change keeps me excited about what I'm doing. And I try to encourage change anyway. Change is one of those words that kind of scares people. So I like to think of it as an evolution. I mean, Mother Nature gives you 4 times a year to make a change, right? Winter, spring, summer, fall. Fashion makes you change your wardrobe twice a year. Maybe not the whole wardrobe, but I mean, these factors drive it, and your hair should be just as dynamic, right? And so if you talk about that, like where are we going in the spring and where are we going in the fall? I talk about this all the time when I teach, actually, about color stories. So, you have a wedding. Okay, there's an event, but that's the only event all year you work for this wedding. I mean, what about the other 364 days? What about spring? What about your husband getting a new job? What about you going on vacation? What about dropping them 10 pounds? What about the new job? What about just your kids going back to school and you get some of your day left? These are things that you should be able to take and incorporate into your hair to make you feel even better and make more of your day. Change is not a bad thing, it's an incredible thing. And look, that you can use all that up there to make change. All that. You can probably see it in the mirror. I mean, come on. That's possibilities, right?
What do you love most about your profession?
I'm my own boss. I love that. I love that about being my own boss. And it's funny because I work for so many people, but yet I still have the freedom to be who I want to be and share who I am with them, and I think that makes them share with me. Yeah, I work with an organization and I represent certain products and lines and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's me. And then I can make that connection with you. I love the free time I have. There's so many things you can do as a hairdresser. I mean, you talk about style, you talk about people's lives, you direct them in an ambition, or make a big difference. There's a lot to that question. I don't even know how to answer it.
So what's your favorite part of your profession?
I like doing photo shoots. I'm like behind the camera now. I bought a camera for myself for Christmas last year, and I didn't start using it until April. And then I started bringing all the things that I love together. Let me tell you, once you get behind the camera, you see things a little differently, and it inspires you even more. That's a whole another artistry right there. And then when you talk about making color stories, so now I make color stories. I talk about where people are in their life, and I tie it into Love Out Lavender, my charity. I just don't feel like I work. Sorry, but I don't feel like I work. I feel like I have fun. I come to play every day.